we have joining us on the program two, call them Amazons, amazing women. We have joining us Professor Folashade Ogunshola, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, right here in our Lagos studio. And right next to her, Miss Elsie Atefua, a resident representative, UNDP Nigeria. Good morning, madams. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I mean, seeing both of you on the show today, clearly it's something good.
Yeah.
So I'm sure our viewers are watching and say, okay, this is a conversation that we definitely want to speak to. And this is about UniPods, University Innovation Pods. As I said earlier on, yes, it's about innovation, but it's bigger than that. And I think Nigeria is the very first country to really own UniPod with 30 billion naira in terms of investment. So naturally, I want to get to the heart of this and start by asking, first off, what is this about, UniPod? And why is Nigeria making this investment right now? We can talk about a lot of things that we need to invest in. So why now? And honestly, I want both of you to start with your opening comments. So.
All right. No, thank you very much to Channels for the invitation, to your chairman and to you anchors. Really, it's the first time I'm coming on the morning show, so I'm very excited.
You're welcome.
And to all our viewers who are watching us, thank you very much. Now, you asked a very fundamental question, why now? And let me start off by framing a bit of the context in terms of the world that we are in. It's a world of competition. It's a world where you have to create value. It's a world where we are seeing artificial intelligence, innovation, digital systems define how you grow, how you create value, how you become competitive. And Nigeria is responding to that moment. We are the giant of Africa, isn't it? So for Nigeria to position itself in a world that is changing, we need to invest in young people. Secondly, Nigeria is going through a lot of reforms now. You know the reforms, whether it's on energy reform, fiscal reforms. But to translate those reforms into jobs, into enterprises, we need to invest in young people and innovations. And this country has some of the largest demographic that we have in Africa. I think 1 out of every 4 by 2050 might be a Nigerian. 60% of our young people are below the age of below the age of 25. And they have the assets, they have the energy, they have the ideas, they have the talent, they have the Niger spirit. But sometimes what we're lacking is a system that helps to connect all these ideas. And so the UniPod simply is one that unlocks the opportunities for young people. It is the turning universities as platforms for engines of growth, platforms for innovation. So you get into a space in UniPod, Professor Shade is here, where you're able to take your idea into a prototype. You have machines to work with. You're able to take your prototypes into industries. You're able to take your industries, into commercialization. So we're trying to use the investors as a platform really to create jobs, startups. And it's great because Nigeria is drawing great inspiration through a Pan-African initiative we call Timbuktu, which is supporting UniPods across board. The government is leveraging and investing 30 billion naira, which is not small, into this. And so, University of Lagos is the first to go on artificial intelligence, but we also have a mining UniPod, for example, in Nasarawa, which will leverage our resources when it comes to, minerals. We have one also on agri-tech in Benue, and so on and so forth. And the idea is that beyond the first set of 7 that is being launched this month and next month, we are going to scale through support with Tech Fund. And so in sum, the UniPods give us an opportunity to create the pathway for jobs, for opportunities, for pushing the national transformation agenda and to positioning Nigeria not only here in Africa, but also globally.
Interesting point you make, situating this and helping us understand the context. So, Prof, I'll naturally come to you.
Yes.
What does this moment mean for Nigerian universities?
Wow, I think this is what you would call a pivotal moment in history. And we've been building up to it. And I think this will accelerate that, the momentum. Let me take us back a few years, maybe about 20 years ago, or maybe a little longer. Yeah, about 20 years ago. Banks started doing interviews. Someone comes out with the first class, interviews are done. It told us something was wrong because it meant we were going out of sync. And that going out of sync continued to increase, partly because we had challenges with the university system. A few years ago in University of Lagos, maybe about 10 years ago, it became very clear to us we had to change direction. So we started trying to add skills to what students were learning. Of course, it's a learning curve. We really didn't have, we all have all the problems, but we believe it's beyond problems. And so we started working to ensure that there were skills attached to what students were learning. And we started investing in innovation hubs. So if you come to the campus, we have like about 6 to 10 innovation hubs now, both creatives and technology. But AI happened, and we needed something that would bridge all these. And when we had the chance to have the AI UniPod, it was something we jumped at. One, because we had been training manpower, so we have faculty that understand AI. We had our students who were already big in the tech space. So AI was just a leg up, not even just a giant leg up. So having that UniPod there then gave us the chance to translate our theories to practice, to have our students have hands-on capabilities, for our faculty to also do more, because the more you do, the more you train, and also for us to engage better with industry. So from where we sit, this AI UniPod is a dream come true. It's also a step that allows us to do a lot more, not just for student training, but for national development. Because I don't see how Nigeria will develop without our young people. We have a very vibrant young set of people. We also have a lot of industry that already come to, to take from our young people their tech savviness. So being able to intentionally and properly structure that learning, because a lot of it's done from internet, here and there, I think will take us far. We also developed a lot of infrastructure for taking research to market, but they're all in, baby steps and bits and pieces. So working with UNDP brings a cohesion that I think in the next 3-5 years, we will see the impact in a bigger way than you would expect, because a lot is already happening. We just needed something that would bring it all together. And I think working with UNDP will do that for us.
I've been looking at some numbers here and some focus areas, and let me come to you, madam. And my question has to do with why these. So we look at what is called the sector focus centers of excellence, and I can see that for Lagos we have fintech and digital finance innovation, Kigali Health Tech, Life, Dakar. I can go on and on. I don't know whether I would be right to say that fintech, for instance, is getting near saturation. I may be wrong in terms of the Nigerian ecosystem of technology. So why doubling down on something that has made progress? Or is this just a specific focus area? There are other minor areas that you want to expand to, if you get my drift, ma.
You mean on the AI?
Yes, on this particular. So I can see the sector focus centers of excellence.
Okay.
More like, looks like, okay, for Nigeria, these are the kinds of specific areas. So it says in Nigeria, fintech and digital finance innovation. That may be like the major. I'm saying, why that for Nigeria? Well,
I mean, look, let me say that Nigeria is not only fintech. Nigeria is going to be everything, because we have several sectors, whether it's agriculture, it's health, it's mining and so on. So it's going to be a lot of things that we have to do in Nigeria. But let me come back to the question around the AI, because I think it's quite important. I just want to build on that. Professor Shadi talked about intentionality, the reason why we are focused, because AI is also very much linked to the fintech industry. Why AI, I think, is the most important conversation for us today. Countries that thrive will need to invest in AI, otherwise they'll be left behind. And that's very important, because we see, for example, a number of countries, where the US, for example, is doing about 60 to 80 billion, a year. We know China is investing, EU is investing, South Korea is investing, many countries are investing, and therefore we need to be able to ensure that, this 15 trillion economy by 2030, we also have part of that. And that's a question of sovereignty for Nigeria. Now, what does it translate into practically? You know, you talked about financing. We need AI, for example, to be able to enable fintech. We need AI to enable mining. We need AI to enable insurance. We were in the AI UniPod a couple of days ago, and there was a PhD student who was working on financing, and he said, with AI, for example, I know who is credit worthy and who is not credit worthy, and therefore you can be able to invest in that person or not. You don't need to chase people anymore. And so you can see the importance of AI as an enabler across board as we look into the future of development. And for us in Nigeria, if we don't invest in that, and then it's going to be a missed opportunity for us. So just to come back to why we are investing in AI in Nigeria. Now, coming back to the fintech, I know you talked about fintech, is that under the Timbuktu initiative, which is a Pan-African initiative that was birthed by UNDP, of which Nigeria is one of, fintech is one of those that Nigeria is also, and we do have a fintech hub here again in Lagos, where we have supported over 44 young Africans who've gone through a journey of how did Nigeria become #1 in Africa as a finance hub, and they're learning as a result of that. So not only the fintech, but also AI by health tech and so many things. And so that's where I wanted to sort of pivot the conversation. It's quite important that we keep our eye on the ball when it comes to the AI and why we are investing in that.
So maybe let me bring it to Prof. So if we walk into the hub or the pod, if in this sense, for instance, in this AI, what are we going to see that is different from the regular classroom that is happening? I know she's mentioned something in passing, which is quite exciting. That has to do with credit worthiness or otherwise.
Yes.
What else are we saying?
I think what you'll see are students at work building things. The AI hub is a space where you put your ideas to work. And so you'll find students constructing, you'll find people learning in groups, you'll find the pod, a beehive of activity. So what you'll find are students making prototypes, you're going to find students constructing from their prototypes, you'll find people training, students learning together in groups. So the AI hub is so different from the normal classroom. It's about doing, is how do you do, and how do you improve on what you do. So it's a very hands-on place. But what you get when you enter is the ambience. It's such a youth-friendly ambience. It just triggers your mind working. You just see a lot of people working. It's actually a fantastic space to work in. And what we've got now are the young people they're there constructing devices. You're finding people on their computers drawing out things. So I think what you'll find there is a beehive of activity rather than people sitting down passively learning. What you see is active learning in real time, and it's great.
Maybe if I could just jump on Professor Shade's point. Last week I went to the pod, and there's a practical story.
Yeah.
I met Deborah. Deborah has cerebral palsy, and she said, my mind is sound, my mouth can speak, but I cannot express myself because I cannot write. So we asked her why she came to the AI, pod. She said, I want to be able, because, she's been depending on other students to write her exams for her, human scribes. And said, it's not really reflective of what I truly want to do. And so Professor Shade and her team, Dr. Chika and others, had surrounded Deborah with some computer persons, AI engineers. And they said, okay, how do we do some level of robotics and AI to really capture her expression and the robotics begin to scribe? And in less than a week, that's the power of that space. In less than a week, they already have a robotic scribe that they're working on that will enable Deborah to be able to express herself. That is inclusion. And she said persons with disabilities across, not only in UNILAG, in other places, will be able to benefit from that. So that's the space we are talking about. But also in addition to that, we want the AI here to be a national node. In other words, it should be able to connect to all the other universities in Nigeria. And so when you're a student in Kefi, Nasarawa, or you are a student in ABU Zaria, or my degree, UNIMAID, you should be able to say, I have something to do. Can we work together and leverage what we have in the AI UniPod to be able to find a solution to something that we are dealing with? We met medical students there in that space who said for the very first time, we are able to understand anatomy because AI is able to help us to look into the human body in a different way. In other words, they're able to predict diseases. So when we're talking AI, people think about ChatGPT and other things.
Yeah.
We're talking about the future of development when it comes to AI and agriculture, AI and health, AI and finance, AI and inclusion. And this space, Prof, you were not there, but one of the young people said to us, it's not only that we come to do our things here, it's also that when we enter the space, we get ideas. Because of the power of that space, you know, it resonates with us and we're able to connect and dream. And he used the word limitless. And so that's a space, and I do hope that you guys can come tomorrow to see the space.
Let me also say...
we just want you to keep talking.
Okay. Let me say, because of that, the university has been investing, because what you need in an AI space is data. So we've been investing in data. We've been investing in energy, because you can't have an AI. And part of why we have the AI node in the University of Lagos is because those are investments we've made over time. And so right now, data science, and we're particularly particular that the data in the AI space is African, has African data. There's just too much, the bias there is not, the story's there, or should I say the data is there, is not ours. And so our stories are being told by other people. So data, African data is something that we want. And part of what we've got out of that is that we've got one of our students who came up with Yan GPT, which is GPT in for African languages, you know, so things like that. We have changing text from English to African, smart spaces that respond to our accent. You know, all these things are coming out from students. We've just got a student who's developed how, thank God for faculty, how we can, you know, assess exam papers, you know, essay questions, not just, you know, and so all these little things are coming out, things that respond to, we're taking data sets from ourselves, because AI right now is not African. So we need to make sure that what we need is there, and that's one of the things we're investing in. So data science has come up, and so in the back end, we're developing programs that would enable that. And the reason why the AI node works here is that we've been building faculty for AI, partnering with MIT, partnering with universities abroad that already have the capability. So in the last 2 years, we've trained over 14,000 people on AI, you know, and they come to the...
In UNILAG?
In UNILAG, yes. We have about, we have about, some of our hubs, over 20 AI startups have come out of the University of Lagos. And the beauty of the AI is because, as you said, cross-cutting. Wow. It's AI and health, AI and Greek, AI and so we are the natural space to influence the country. So we're looking forward to doing more.
And that's exciting on many levels. I was going to ask why UNILAG, but you've already begun to speak to that. And I'm proud because I'm a UNILAG product as well myself. And beyond the aiding learning ability of AI, I can also tell from what you have told us, Madam Atefua, that it is also connecting institutions across the country. So let's talk about the potential for the students who are coming out now for, you know, we often talk about connecting the town and the gown. So what are the outcomes and the opportunities, you know, for engagement and for, you know, for startups, for building from ground up, not just going to the job market from this program? I think that's ideally for you.
Yes,
I chime in as well.
Yeah. Yes. One of the things we're working through at UNILAG is that our students have to be, one, either job creators or very fit for purpose. In other words, you have to be valuable. So by the time they're coming out with the AI support, including other things that we're doing at the university, we're bringing in industry to work with us. We're bringing in industry to co-create curricula. We're bringing in industry and to help to give us the problems that they have so that we can solve them. The students are already one, job ready, but more importantly, they're creating enterprise, they're creating devices, they're creating the ability to be their own, to be job creators themselves. And in addition to the AI pod, we have what we call the Entrepreneurship Center, where we're working massively with industry. The idea is to teach them business skills, because it's one thing to have a product, it's another thing to know how to run a business. So combining those two together, where we believe that University of Lagos will be the place to be in terms of job creation. And I know that about 4 or 5 years ago, Forbes named us the most, I think the 3rd most innovative university in Africa. So I think that's something that we're working on closely to ensure that our students are.
Yeah, let me just chime in a bit and to thank the government of Nigeria for the leadership, you know, because what we are talking about is really government-led, is government finance and partnership enabled. We generate, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, about 2 million people coming to the job market every year. The public sector will not be able to absorb all of them, which means that we must use the university as places where we are already creating jobs and startups and opportunity, turning potential into productivity, learning into earning. And so we're hopeful that with the sort of investment that is coming in, already the startups, starts, coming up and thriving. Last week, so we were here with the Minister for Education, Mr. Lauser, who held a student venture grant ceremony, and we were here. 30,000 young university students applied for the venture grant. 30,000. You can understand the hunger and the opportunities and the potential that is already there. Like I said, what is missing sometimes is how we connect the opportunity, to the assets that enable them to thrive, whether it's on finance, whether it's on policy, whether it's on capital, whether it's on grant. And I think what we are hoping to do with the university spaces in partnership with the government, with the universities, with Tech Fund and others, is to ensure that that connection is that enabling is facilitated, and that the young Nigerian student can thrive. But beyond the university students, we're also looking at communities. What if somebody is not a university student, but in the neighborhood here, we have a young person who is already doing something interesting? They can also partner with the university to be able to take their innovation a notch higher.
And sorry, let me just take something on that. One of the things that's coming out of this is, as we do the industry students, industry faculty, we're creating jobs. It does mean that if we're going to succeed, then we have to do government university engagement, because some of the things that are missing are the policies and that drive it to the last mile. So it's one thing to develop something. It's one thing, then it's another thing to have all the policies that allow finance for young people. So there's a lot of work for government, and we're really pleased that government is really interested in this, because there is no country that has developed by ignoring its universities. And it's such a pleasure to see, the increasing understanding from government that universities matter to national development. That's where we develop our manpower. And if we don't determine where we want to go, what kind of manpower we're looking for, what kind of mindsets, because again, with AI, one thing that's clear is that we cannot teach the young people everything they need to know. What we can do is develop the mind that can ask the right questions and connect to the dots. And so that's what we're working on. So when we talk of entrepreneurship innovation, we're allowing their minds to grow. We're allowing their minds to soar. And our job is to facilitate that. But when we've done that, we have to, the extra job for us as university administrators is also how do we engage government to ensure that the right policies are there, to ensure these things are nurtured and grow. And working with government, working with international organizations like the UN, then we can have a real advocacy so that we're all working together. And it's great that government is on board here. So it reduces our work. So it's now, how do we get all the things we need? So the elements are beginning to come together. Right. And I think that's really great.
It's great to hear. I imagine for other universities listening right now, they're thinking, wait a minute, what's going on? When are we going to get a slice of this pie? Yes, UNILAG got that Forbes recognition for 3rd most successful university in educating entrepreneurs in Africa.
In Africa.
So we understand where UNILAG is. In fact, it's in Lagos. But there's University of Ibadan. There is, Jeffrey?
All the universities.
All the universities, right. So let's talk about the scaling.
Naturally.
So I know it's 7 to eventually 50 universities. So help us understand, so people know that it will get to your turn, so don't worry about it.
Don't worry, Kanye, to get to University of Ibadan.
Oh, no.
Let's also talk about the flag off that's happening tomorrow as well. So begin to wind down, because that's quite important as well.
So let's understand the phase and then what's next.
Well, thank you very much for that. Like I said, really sincere appreciation to the government of Nigeria, because they are investing in this. It's not about UNDP. It's about the government of Nigeria. And scale matters in Nigeria. We are 220 million people, isn't it? Speed matters in Nigeria. Scope matters in Nigeria. Sustainability matters in Nigeria. And so what the government is doing is that, you know, we've done this sort of 7 that are going, but that's not the end. With partnership with the Ministry of Education in particular, through the Tertiary Education Fund, TED Fund, and it'll be here tomorrow as well, is that we begin to assess what is happening in all the other universities, and again be able to now work through to about 50 universities. And again, 50 universities is not the end, but we continue to go on and on. And so the scaling is going to happen, and I think in the next 18 months, we're going to move from the 7 to about 21 more, and then 21 more to about 43 more, and then we keep going and going. And so that's the scaling plan that we have. Of course, in doing that, also we do invite the private sector. We do invite, you know, impact investors, you know, everybody else who needs to be part of this journey together with us. Now, coming back to tomorrow's flag off, which is a question that you talked about. I mean, tomorrow's event is really an announcement that the government is ready for big business. And the government of Nigeria, through His Excellency, the Vice President, has been really providing us the leadership, the guidance, and to move forward. So tomorrow, we do hope that we have, you know, the government present here, together with partners, with the universities, with the government of Lagos, and other VCs are also coming to join for us to flag this off. But it's not just a flag off, just traditional. It's just a messaging that we are positioning ourselves as a country, investing in young people, and ensuring that the development agenda of this great country and the development aspirations of this great country are met. So again, we do invite you know, viewers to join us online, and yourselves to come in as well, since you are here in closed door, to come to University of Lagos, and that's where the flag is going to take place.
Yes.
We look forward to it. So I'm glad to hear that it's not just UNILAG or so it's going to be scaled eventually.
And that's Polytechnics as well.
Polytechnics as well. But you understand UNILAG's doing great stuff. We must agree to that.
Superstar. Superstar VC. She's a superstar VC.
But we must agree that, you know, UI is first and the best. And I'm joking. I enjoy doing this.
We can battle about
But ultimately, interesting times to be in school for these students. I remember hustling for Wi-Fi passwords when I was in school, but now they have not just internet, they have all of the infrastructure, data centers in
3D printers, CNC machines, prototyping machines.
Can we go back to school, guys?
And then maybe just to add, Prof, Madam, is to add with the AI thing, we should also add the security bit into it, because it's a national challenge.
Yes.
What we're dealing with today is a big challenge. So if this hub can help us, whether it's happening in UNILAG or wherever, let's just get a solution to help government.
I mean, there's no security without technology.
Yes. In fact, there are 2 things, cybersecurity and ethics. AI has the capacity, should I say, to be destructive in that sense, in invasion. So we really must use it properly. But we cannot, as a country, not be in that space so that we can grow our own. You can't leave out your security to other people. So we have to develop ours. And some of our students are already doing things. They're already doing that.
Any significant development in that regard?
Not to, should I say, it's not at the level where it's ready to go commercial, but it's gone quite far.
There's one prototype that looks very interesting.
Yeah.
I think with AI, they're able to do detection that normally the human eye cannot be able to do. I think the important thing is how we invest in all these young ideas that are coming up. And there's one related to security and governance. And that's a very important one. I do hope that, you know, we're going to have a marketplace tomorrow as well, where we'll have maybe about 50 or so exhibitors on different things. And I think this is where the conversation happens, and that should spark interest in yourselves and any other person that
comes just to geofocus it so that maybe the part that have been bitten by insecurity, like the northern part, can geofocus that. And it will help us. But it's a brilliant, exciting conversation. We love it.
Defense tech is the next frontier, and we're glad that you're playing right in the middle of it. We have to thank you so much. I know it's a big day for you tomorrow. So thank you for your time and for the great work. Professor Folashade Ogunshola, Vice Chancellor, University of Lagos. Thank you, ma, for your time. As well as Ms. Elsie Atefua, Resident Representative, UNDP Nigeria. It's good to meet you personally after all those videos that I've seen online.
No, thank you very much. Thank you to Channels, the chairman, Mr. Kingsley, and everybody for putting the spotlight on this initiative. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, and really thank you, because I think this is a moment in time that our country really needs to position itself. The world out there is not friendly, and Nigeria has to hold its own and protect itself.
Absolutely. We carry first.
Yes, we always
like carry last.
Yes.
So there you go. If you're a young person out there, fantastic time for you. So take advantage of all of the opportunities. And you don't have to be a student necessarily. There are all of these opportunities for you.